Liz, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So good. We've been doing some killer episodes lately, and this is one that I'm really excited about. Utah, are you a sports fan?
Like college football.
College football. But if you lived in Utah, who are the two most famous Utah basketball players in the history of the world?
John Stockton and Karl Malone.
John Stockton and Karl Malone.
Closely followed by Horny.
Jeff Hornacek. I'm glad you threw that in. So one of those three folks has agreed. The popularity of the Latchkey Friends podcast has gotten so huge that one of
Oh
those
my gosh.
three Utah basketball stars has agreed to join us on the call today.
Okay.
We couldn't get video, but we got audio. So we're
Okay.
going to try this. Liz, why don't you see if you can bring in our guest?
All right, here we go. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
Oh, wait for it.
Okay, Latchkey Friends, here we are. Our guest today is none other than number 32, the mailman, Karl Malone. Karl, are you with us?
Yeah, hello. How y'all doing today?
This is so exciting for us, Karl. We're so excited to have you join us.
Yeah, likewise. I heard a lot about the Lackey kids.
Oh, Karl, I love it. It's Latchkey Kids. You calling in from Louisiana?
You know it. This here Liza and Stan, right?
Yeah, I don't understand a word you said, Karl. Karl, what are you up to, man?
You know, Carmel been riding around on his John Deere. He's been taking care of the farm. You know, I play a little basketball once in a while, but, you know, Carmel been taking it easy.
Karl,
Do you keep in touch with John Stockton?
Yeah, once in a while I call John. Sometimes I'll call Larry Sloan. You know, they don't remember me all that well, but it's fine. Carmel, don't take it personal.
Karl, I love that after all these years, you still call him Larry Sloan. His name is Jerry Sloan, Karl.
You're right.
Karl, what do you miss most about Utah, man?
You know, when Karl Malone was young and he was drafted by the Utah Jazz, he showed up, and on Karl Malone's birthday, July 24th, I won a parade for him. Karl Malone missed that. Karl Malone don't get that kind of love down in Louisiana.
Yeah, Karl, we did. July 24th, your birthday, is a holiday, and I have to tell you that even after you left the Jazz, we still continue to celebrate it.
Karl Malone's honored.
Karl, I'm fanboying right now. Grew up idolizing you, man. I don't know if you would be up to it, but I think you have on your computer a camera. Would you mind like letting us see you in real life?
You know what, Karl Malone might let y'all do that. Y'all ready to see this?
Okay, I'm gonna have Liz switch you over. Karl, this is fantastic.
Happy to be here.
All right, give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ready?
I don't know.
Are you going to be able to handle this? Don't back up.
No, I don't know.
Wait a
Karl,
second.
Hey!
Where's Karl?
this is such a disappointment.
The farm was calling, so I'm stepping into his place.
Okay, well,
Your friend Chase Johnson. Hey, Chase.
our friend Chase.
Hello.
Chase, how are you?
I am so peachy. How are you guys?
Love the headband. Is that the only Karl Malone stuff you got on right now?
No, I could give you guys a full tour if you want.
Let's see the full
Alright.
thing.
So we got the jazz shirt, and then I
Yeah.
don't know how to this. We got the matching jazz shorts,
Woo.
and then we have the Donovan Mitchell shoes. Also
32
most
sock.
important, we got the 32 sock.
Oh my gosh.
Love
You
it.
look like a real jazz player, man.
If we're gonna get into Karl Malone character, we get into Karl Malone character.
You go full blown.
Full bore.
100%.
So, Chase, this is not the first time you've done a Karl Malone impression, I'm guessing. Where did this come from?
So this started in high school. A friend and I, Landon Bench, we were in debate class. And did either of you guys take debate in high school?
Heck no,
No.
we were cool.
Great answer. So I also thought I was cool, so I would spend my time in debate class prank calling people. And
my claim to fame was calling, this is awful being in healthcare now. I would call urgent care clinics and pretend I was an old lady and that I couldn't see.
Oh,
And
you're an awful person.
Jeez.
I am an awful human. I'm an awful human, but it's what it is. My friend Landon he had a perfect like Karl Malone, and he would call Karl Malone Toyota, Jazz Arena, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I thought his skill set would get him a lot further than my old lady skill set. So I tried to embody the Karl Malone that he had
Did
perfected.
he get responses from people? Like, did people really think he was Carl?
Yeah, because this is like early 2000s.
Uh-huh.
And Carl was just, he was kind of, I'm thinking he was probably on the Lakers at that point.
Yeah.
So he was still somewhat relevant and getting some traction. So yeah, people were thinking that they were talking to a celebrity. It was pretty
So
epic.
crazy. So it
Yeah.
started in high school, and then where did it go from there?
After that, I think it sat on the shelf for a while. And then I was introduced to alcohol around age 21.
Uh-huh.
And
When all of us were, yeah, at 21, not
correct,
before.
correct. Speaking of, cheers.
Uh-huh. Cheers.
When I would have too much to imbibe on, I would channel my inner Karl Malone. It would just come out. It wasn't really planned. And so, yeah, the rest is kind of history. There was like parties I would go to, and Karl Malone would come out. And so it became like a thing amongst my friend groups. And yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
So who did you call as Karl Malone?
I think some of my most famous calls were the number one famous call is definitely Enes Kanter. There was this.
Tell us who he was.
Enes Kanter played for the Utah Jazz, circa 2013 through 2015, somewhere around that time.
And he's from Turkey.
Ooh, yeah, maybe one of the Balkan countries. I'm not quite sure. But Enes Kanter's shooting coach was Karl Malone, and the 24th of July, again, circa like 2015 or so, was Karl Malone's 50th birthday. And so I was at this 24th of July party. Too many beverages were had, as you do. And it came out that Enes Kanter's phone number was in one of these girls' phones at the party.
Oh my gosh.
And so we tried to call him a few times, and we had it on video like the first couple times. He didn't answer, and finally on like the fourth or fifth time he answered, and I went off on him as Karl Malone and telling him, like, hey, these are the things you need to work on with your jumper. By the way, did you know it's my 50th today? I got Enes Kanter to wish me happy birthday as if I were Karl Malone.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It was really, really fun. So.
Now, a couple of years ago, probably like 3 years ago, one of our buddies challenged us to see if we wanted to go do stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And a bunch of people said, yeah, I'll do it. And then most of them backed out.
Right.
You and I were two of the people who stuck with it. I went through and I worked through my bit, and you just said, what did you just do instead?
I decided that I would take Q&A, and I would ask for questions as the person you see, and I would answer the questions as Karl Malone. I had a Karl Malone face like mask on the back of my head. And so I'd turn around and answer the questions as Karl. And it was
Let me pause you right there.
Please.
As someone who's been your friend for a long time, thinks of you as a little brother a little bit. I remember that, again, I had practiced pretty good for this, and you're like, I'm just going to wing it.
Yeah.
And I, who had practiced, was really, really nervous for me. And I remember we got to the stand-up club, and right before we were about to go on, you looked at me and said, is this a bad idea? And I said, it most definitely is. And then
Can we just stop for a second?
Sure.
As a person, as a spectator of that night, I was so anxious for all of you all night long. I just sat there a mess, like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, they just went up there.
Yeah, we were not great. No. And it was very nerve-wracking for everybody, especially the crowd. So you went up and you did it. How did it go?
Honestly, I think I mentioned this to you I feel like I kind of blacked that part out, and not in like an alcohol induced way. It was more of a like, if it was a really good experience, I don't know. If it was a really bad experience, I also don't know. I think I just tried to like phase that out of my memory. I remember doing it, and I remember being very shaky. That's about it.
That's your brain's way of protecting you.
Probably.
So,
Yeah.
So you made it through that night. I made it through that night. Liz made it through that night.
Mm-hmm.
We somehow made it.
Minimal scars, minimal.
Minimal scars. Most of us have just forgotten it. But you didn't stop there. Tell me about the pinnacle of the Karl Malone experience for you.
The pinnacle had to have been, so there was this month where I was trying to tackle a different fear every day. And some of those fears would be piercing an ear, riding a motorcycle on like a big boy street at 50 miles an hour. A fear that kind of fell into my lap is someone reached out to me and said, "Hey, did you hear that Karl Malone is doing a meet and greet at Gracie's, a bar right down the street from me?" I go, this is presenting itself as a fear. So I thought in my mind, I'm going to go speak to Karl Malone as Karl Malone. And again, like the best version of Karl, the reason I'm sipping a little glass of wine here is because the best version of Karl comes out after a few beverages. And so, so I had a few drinks at my home, go over to go meet Karl Malone. And I asked the guy who was standing right behind me, I said, "Do you mind filming this?" He's like, "You don't want a picture?" And I go, "No, I'm going to need this one on film." And so I asked Karl Malone what it would be like if he were to answer the phone and someone were on the other end saying, "Yeah, hello, this is Karl Malone." I go, "What would you say?" He goes, "I say, who the hell is this?" And it was a great experience.
Did he get that you were imitating him?
I think he had a lot of things coming at him at the same time. I would say it's a coin flip whether or not he understood what I was going for.
But what were you feeling in the 5 seconds leading up to that moment?
Like your heart beating out of your chest, for sure. It definitely embodied all of the fear challenge.
That's amazing, Chase, that you even did that. I wouldn't have done that.
It was scary. It was a thing, for sure.
Well, Chase and Karl, want to say thank you to you for coming onto the podcast today.
Always.
As a special treat to us, we've got 1 million followers out there who love the show, but there's still more people who don't know where to find us. And if you don't know, Karl, it's at Latchkey Friends on all the channels. So could Karl give the Latchkey Friends a little shout out, maybe a little social love?
Of course. Yeah. Do you want an audio version of it now, or do you want me to share it on Karl's
just
social?
Do it right now.
Let's just do it right now.
Let's do it live. We're gonna do it live. All right.
Listen, Karl Malone had the pleasure of being on the Latchkey Kids here on April 9th, 2020. Karl Malone had a good time. Y'all should give it a listen.
So that's fantastic, because just like I do, Karl got the handle wrong, like I
do. It was close-ish. Larry, Barry, whatever.
At Latchkey Friends.
Shut up, kids. All right, sorry.
One more take, Karl.
All right, one more take.
All right, listen, Karl Malone here. He just finished up the podcast with the Latchkey Kids.
Wrong.
Right, one more take.
I had to think about it.
Latchkey Friends.
Got it.
Friends. You got this. You got it.
All right, listen, Karl Malone here. He just had a real good time recording a podcast on the Latchkey Friends. Y'all should give him a follow, give it a listen. It's April 9th, 2020.
Thank you, Karl. Liz, as always, a pleasure to host with you and Karl / Jane. Fantastic to have you on the show. We've got more episodes coming up for you guys. If Karl confused you, it's at Latchkey Friends. We'll see all of you guys really soon. See you guys.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Later.